Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Andres Diaz. Today is the Marvel Plus spoiler talk of WandaVision, episode 3. Oh, sorry,
Or-
episode 4. Title, interrupt your program. Of course, today I'm here with my co-host, Will.
Hi, Andres.
Hey.
How are
So,
you doing?
pretty good. I'm so excited to talk to you about this episode, Will.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I want to say this. To all the folks there, this is my favorite episode so far for this series.
Oh, wow. All right.
So I don't know. What's your opinion on this episode, Will?
I mean, I really liked it. It was a fun, we got to learn a lot more about what's going on. So that was cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. I guess the first thing, um, I mean, for me, like it's probably one of the best episodes for me. Like I guess for explaining that it explains everything what is going on. It
Mm-hmm.
it it properly introduced us Monica Rambeau
Yeah.
prior to her first appearance. We saw her in the reality bubble, so it was really exciting, and I wasn't expecting. I don't know if when you saw it Friday, well, like
Mm-hmm.
were you expecting to just like see her bleep again, like coming back from the snap? And
No, I wasn't.
oh my god, like
Yeah, it was. I loved that we got to see more of the aftermath of the
the snap.
snap. You know,
Yeah.
they covered it in Far From Home a little bit,
Mm.
but it was more of like a comedic thing. It was cool to see just like people reacting to everyone that they thought was gone just
Yeah.
reappearing.
Yeah. Um, I think this this one second episode, handled the snap better than Spider-Man Far From Home. In my opinion. I
Yeah.
mean, and Spider-Man From Home had different intentions. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
it was just they acknowledge it that that happened.
Right.
And of course they were coming right after Endgame. So, but I just feel like this just made it better, and like this is what I wanted to see, basically,
Mm-hmm.
after Endgame.
Right.
Okay, so this is like the first time in the show we can actually properly talk about characters and like things that now, like it was interesting to see in the post snap. Like, for me, I actually like how we were reintroduced again Monica Rambeau, and it was very fascinating to see her. Of course, growing up, we first introduced her as a child in Captain Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to talk too much about Captain Marvel the movie, but like her mom and her and like Carol meet them again, and or were my favorite parts about that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the smaller, like intimate scenes of them made the film better than some of the cosmic and political stuff they were trying to do in that film. So, and Marie Rambeau is one of my favorite characters in that film, and I was so shocked that she passed away in this episode, like her
Yeah.
dying from cancer, and like and then her being like a founding member of Sword, and like
The founder, I think.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, um uh, just take us anywhere from the like those like that whole opening of just reintroducing us to Monica Rambeau, and of course introducing Sor for the first time for the MCU.
Yeah.
Ending particularly interesting, and those you know film film moments. Um, like
Yeah.
anything that caught you interesting. Uh,
Um, I don't know. I'm curious if Sword is related to Shield at all.
oh yes,
Um,
okay.
yeah, like I want to know more about that. Um,
Well, well, okay, we can discuss that actually now. So, um, apparently, um, the MCU was trying to plant Sor early on in the series, in the MCU, but they
Okay.
couldn't find a way to introduce that. There
Interesting. Okay.
was, oh, I'm sorry, like
No, no.
quickly, of course, it's confirmed that as we mentioned, Marine Rabone is the founder
Founder. Yeah.
of SOAR, right? And it was now is introduced from Captain Marvel the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I checked that this line that SOAR was introduced in a dialect from an alter ending of the first Thor, and
Okay.
uh, where Eric Savick, this is where like Eric Savick was talking to Jane and Darcy. Of course, Darcy is in this episode as well,
Mm-hmm.
ironically, and he talked about how he experienced this kind of team interfering in their work, like how
Mm-hmm.
in that little dialogue he mentioned how Shield made Bruce Banner disappear, and obviously that was a reference to Hulk, right?
Right.
In this alternate line that wasn't in the film, it's a Eric Savick told his team to cross-reference with the sword database. So
Mm.
this line seems that it was more was intended to make this to be a full-on term, like thing just like Shield in the MCU, but they couldn't do it. So this is
Mm-hmm.
like this show is the first time they properly doing that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and speaking to you, Will, about like if this can is either connecting to Shield, I this episode I feel like confirms that I don't think Nick Fury is connected at all with Sword, and I think this is like this new like I don't know what was the project that Marvel was working on in Captain Marvel, that this is like the new extension of that, and that this is disconnected to Shield, and this is like a different subsidiary government that Marie created on her own, and that Shield was, how you say, like Nick Fury was just with Shield and that's it. I don't think that I think like it's hard to confirm, but like for me, this episode confirmed that Shield and Nick Fury, like that's not connected at all. Sure, with Sword, this is like a new like government like
Mm-hmm.
department we're going to see and moving forward within the MCU as like a replacement of Shield. So that's what I think is happening. Um, so yeah, and then um, I say it was interesting how in this episode when of course Monica was going back to work, and it was interesting to hear from who was the chief um that was running the sword at that point that he replaced, like after Marie died. Who was that guy?
Yeah.
I,
Director Hayward.
yes, it was interesting to hear him mention that either the people come back from the bleep, there were, what was
Mm-hmm.
it, like the not the not the pronoted from their roles, but like they could.
There were just like protocols to um, like not put them in the field right away.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was probably
And
just like to monitor them and just in case it happened again.
yeah, well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. And then we see a little bit about mentioning pilots, and that's where it was interesting to see a little bit what was SOAR about. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
noticed their was it their full initials is different from the comics, where the comics is called the Sedated World Observation Response Department, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the MCU, it's called the Sensitive Weapon Observation Response Division.
Right.
So I think the MCU initials is much better because it fits what I think Marie had experienced in Captain Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
and and it kind of continues what we saw with Captain Marvel and that project. Well, the thing that Marvel was working on to try to make this like fast um, jet Quinjet to get them to their like safe location from the Kree, from Captain Marvel, the 2019 film. So I think it seems this is more like a Star Trek, like like it's more like but in just fire jets basically. Um, but well, we need to see more of what Sword does. Yeah, so yeah, it was just in the director of Sword mentioned how they lost a lot of their spacecraft due to the accidents, and then how the astronauts were stamped out. So it was very interesting to see what happened to them and stuff. Um, Anything you want to bring up that we may be missing from these like few minutes of Sword and stuff like that?
Um, no, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Excited to talk about Jimmy Woo coming back.
Oh yes, of course. In New Jersey, getting a shout out in this show.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was.
It's nice to see some New Jersey representation.
Yeah, and yeah, and of course, um, yeah, of course, seeing Jimmy Woo come back, and when he came back, I started to like his character more than his appearance in Ant-Man and the Wasp, just in
Yeah,
my opinion. And
yeah.
I love
I
the
like
little.
he
Oh,
does the
sorry.
card trick. The
Yes,
yeah,
I was so laughing at that. I was like, oh, okay, I love that.
yeah.
And I like his interaction with Monica. It was very cool.
Hmm.
It felt like a little bit of like Men in Black or Twin Peaks or X Files, like that
Yeah,
kind of
just
vibe.
yeah. To like um, law enforcement people just like exploring the unknown. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Um,
get that.
and and it was very it was very interesting to see like these cops like getting like Westwood different, like they were affected by the surrounding of the reality bubble,
Yeah.
and like it was very interesting. And and this is where we get our first major clue and like confirmation, you know, um was in episode 2 of WandaVision. We of course, when Wanda was, I don't know, like doing something with her plants, like fixing it, and she gets the colorful plane or helicopter toy
Yeah.
from
Hmm.
her yard. We had confirmed that it's from the real world, and that was sent from Monica
Yeah.
specifically. So that was very cool to see, to confirm that.
Hmm.
And then, you know, after she sent it out, of course, it disappeared. And I'm like, okay, two things, Will.
Hmm.
When you see that happen, what are you gonna do? Call first your government department to completely ground that whole thing and investigate. Or second, oh, you know what I should do? Is just go over there and see what happened. And she literally did the second option. Go
Yeah.
over there and touch it. And she literally got sucked into the rabbit hole. I was like, what are you doing, Monica? Oh my God.
Ooh, a
Oh,
mysterious energy force that made my drone disappear. Better just touch it without thinking.
I know. I was like, what are you doing? Oh my God.
Oh man.
So right away we see that, okay, Monica was investigating this phenomenon of the relative bubble of Westview of New Jersey, of course,
Yeah.
and she got stuck. And so this is where this is how why Jimmy Woo was trying to contact Wanda, and and this is where we see the sword getting into the investigation after Monica disappeared. So then after we cut to that scene, we get introduced to Dorsey, and of course, if anyone knows or anyone remembers that Dorsey is a Thor supporting character that was, she's completely original, just like Eric Savick and Coulson in this
Hmm.
series,
Yep.
and she's back. She's back what do you think about her, Will? And you know, like, was she less annoying from her Thor appearance, and
Yeah,
or you think she was way better than here?
yeah, I preferred her here. She's always a little annoying in the Thor movies.
Not
Just
the
because
actress'
she's
fault.
like, no, yeah, no, no.
Yeah, yeah,
Just the character just always felt like she was only there for like weird comic relief moments.
hmm
Whereas here, it actually felt like she was like serving a purpose, and she felt like, you know, um, like she was actually driving the plot forward,
yeah.
um, and like doing her job well.
Much
Um,
much better than Jane ever did. I I will say. And I think, yeah, her humor was so much better in this episode.
yeah, I liked her like chemistry with Jimmy Woo. It was good.
Yes, I love that. I love the they were like they were like casually watching the sitcoms, and
Right?
she was
Yeah.
eating the chips, and I love Wu's like he's talking about, oh, start family, and I don't know, like his her like the son, the naming of the child if he has one, and like she's like, here, have this chip. It was very funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I like Darcy this time around. It was cool to hear like the was it the kind of scientific thing called the cosmic. Um,
Oh, the cosmic background radiation.
yes,
Yeah.
first time what to just hear the word cosmic in the MCU and
Well,
just
yeah.
or sorry or was that mentioned before?
What? Well, cosmic background radiation um, is like a real thing. It's
Oh, in real
when,
life?
yeah,
Oh, oh, okay. Explain it. Tell
yeah,
me.
when the Big Bang happened, like the
Oh,
energy from it like radiated out, and there's still that radiation just like filling the universe,
uh-huh.
especially towards like the edges of the universe where it's still expanding. But it's present at like very small levels everywhere. Um, but they were saying in the show that there was like higher levels of it, which would be weird, but not too
Mm.
weird if one is creating a little universe bubble.
Yeah. And how she defined it was like a relic radiation dating back to the Big Bang.
Right.
Yes. Okay. No, no,
Yeah.
no, that makes sense. Yeah. That explains, folks, that I'm not good at science. So thank you, Will, for explaining that.
Yeah.
I know she was saying I remember the Big Bang part, and I didn't know that was actually real.
Yeah.
So
I'm
okay,
sure
that.
I explained it at least partially wrong, but it
I
is a
mean,
real
hey,
thing. Yeah.
okay, that's good. That's good to confirm. That is a real thing. But okay, okay, that makes sense now. Yeah, and that's a cool thing. But the way she explained it was very cool. It was simple and it made sense what was going on of that moment. And and I think when we see the scene, it was interesting to see like Sor, Jimmy, and her investigating what was going on. And I don't know, like I guess the first big one was the bee keeper.
Yeah, the beekeeper.
Like I was like, oh my god, that explains it. And
Mhm.
I mean, we knew it was a sword, maybe
Right, it had the
connected.
sword logo on the back.
Yeah, and it was an
Um,
agent. And oh wow, that was interesting.
mhm.
So we got our second confirmation, or just clearing up what was that, and it just made total
Yeah,
sense. And we didn't have a clear ending of that
yeah. I
compared.
don't. Yeah, I don't
Like,
know what happened to that guy.
oh my god, it'd be funny. That's how AIM started now, or I don't know, some major villain that will pop up. I don't know.
I'm sure there's some Marvel villain called like the Beekeeper.
Or Swarm
Um,
from a
Swarm,
Spider-Man. Yeah. Oh my god. Um. Yeah, and okay, and then like oh my god, there were so many things about that part was fun. Okay, I think the other major one was when how to say it, Darcy was connecting this like radar thing, and she had this like glimpse of the sitcom, and
Mm-hmm.
she saw Wanda, and then she started watching it, and it was very interesting to see the perspective of them, and like it was like in this meta commentary of the audience watching the sitcom, and like it it was very interesting. And then
Mm-hmm.
of course this is where we got the like clear confirmation that she was able to like lock into the to a signal to try to communicate with Wanda, and that's how Jimmy Woo in episode 2 um like got to talk in that radio of where Wanda was in that like I don't know, meeting with Dottie and with Agnes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the third confirmation, what was very interesting. And you saw like that she was able to break into that reality, and it was interesting she didn't tell Jimmy Woo what happened. So like, what was your thoughts about that?
Um, I don't know. I mean, it made sense.
Well, I mean that's true. Well, I mean, I say and then after that, they were cross-referencing the people
Yeah.
and that was interesting.
Yeah. I noticed that Agnes didn't have a like New Jersey driver's license attached to her paper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they specifically they were like naming everyone and putting their like real information next to their character sheet, and then she didn't get a mention, but she was still on the board.
Before, yeah.
I didn't see the people from the commercials on the board anywhere.
No, I I think the commercials, they knew it was a reference to, they know, like Hydra, like they know that was Hydra. They didn't have to put it there.
No, but like
Mm,
presumably they're real people that are trapped in the bubble. So
mm.
I'm just wondering who they are.
Oh, that's okay. I see what you were saying. I mean, I because they were cross-referencing and the computer probably that they probably just like they're just not real. Those people in the commercials, they're probably just like are just like projection, astral projection people.
Possible.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I don't think.
we'll see if it comes
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
yeah. I wasn't. Yeah, I now that we got confirmed that the people in the sitcoms are real. Of course, the unconfirmed is Agnes, which now that's proving more that she's could be the villain or the the mastermind behind the reality
Mm-hmm.
bubble.
Yeah.
And so it was very interesting. Yeah, I did notice that she didn't get the confirmation of she was real, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's very interesting. So and um so then after confirming the people in the sitcoms being real, and of course obviously they knew that Wanda and Vision was there, but then I say Jimmy Root was shocked that Vision came back from the dead, and
Yeah.
uh and so um I guess um after that I'm oh, and one of the things, Jimmy Root had a whiteboard and he was writing down stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I do want to mention that there's like a scrolls, uh like
Yeah. I
question
think
mark.
they were wondering if the scrolls were responsible.
Yes, that's cool. So
Yeah.
and obviously Marine knew the scrolls,
Yeah.
so you got this organization knowing something that pretty much everyone doesn't know about
Yeah.
the scrolls, and she's the one that knows, and so it's very cool to see Sword being head of the shape-shifting aliens. Um, and I guess
There were
um,
there were some other clues on the whiteboard, or not clues, but like I don't know. I liked. He was like wondering why Vision was alive, but there was also like what's up with all the hexagons, you know? Because it looked
yes,
like the map of Westview that they were looking at. The bubble was in the shape of a hexagon,
yes,
and then like the end credits always have hexagons.
hexagons, yes. I
Um,
Interesting. Yeah, that's true. I did notice that. Yeah, and you mentioned before the hexagon one time, or
Hmm.
or this moment right now. Um, yeah, that's true. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out. It could be a reference to the diamond that Agnes wears in her clothing.
Could be.
Yeah, or there. I saw one video mentioning Hydra. That could be it, but then that's not like a hexagon. But
Yeah, it's not really
yeah,
hexagon.
yeah, it's weird. Um, yeah. Why the hexagon shape? Why the sitcoms? Same time and space. As just looking down what the board was saying, and then of course, Rue's last writing was like, "Is Vision alive?" And obviously, the answer is no. He's not alive. Um, okay, so I think after that, of course, we kind of cut back to Dorsey and Jimmy were watching the sitcom, and then of course they were watching episode two. Of course, what was the episode name? WandaVision episode two. I am.
Um,
Uh, don't touch
uh,
that.
yeah, don't touch that dial.
Yeah. Um. Oh no, episode three. Sorry, now in
Oh,
color. I'm sorry. I was like, no, that's not it. It's now in color because that's like the first time we're in color.
yeah.
So they're watching that episode, right? And they caught the last parts where Wanda gets, like Monica helps, Wanda with the twins, and then then Wanda mentioning her brother and like her Sokovian, nationality, right? And then, of course, Monica, of course, if you're like a story agent, you're aware of what happened with Sokovia and Ultron, right? And then she mentioned that, and then of course Wanda, starts to freak out, and then she realized she's not part of that reality, and so we see that now in a different perspective. And it was very cool when immediately when she mentioned Ultron, you hear the sirens beeping that something was coming out from the reality bubble, which this is honestly this is connecting towards the end of episode three now in color, where it was very cool, and it was very cool to see the astral um ration of the screens, like going back to the TV
Mhm.
70s style, and it was very cool to see what happened.
Yeah,
And I mean, what do you think about that? Will, it was like very cool, and
yeah.
just it's like
Um, that was really well done. Um, I really like when Wanda gets like scary.
yes,
Um,
that's true.
yeah, it's like she's the hero, but also like she has all of this like power, and she doesn't quite understand how to use it. She has a lot of like trauma, so it's terrifying when she like turns on someone.
Mm,
Um,
that's true.
yeah, and then like you said, like the aspect ratio, like how they filmed everything was really cool. I love like watching the bars change when you're going from the bubble to like reality.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's just everything about that scene was just really interesting.
yeah. Um, and then it was very interesting to now properly see what actually happened with
Mhm.
Monica and what was going on with those three episodes. And it was interesting when we see her back to the real world, right?
Mhm.
And she say that Wanda's doing this. And what do you think about that? That probably Wanda's doing this whole thing, which I think we're kind of expecting, but
Yeah, I'm.
but like it's confirmed now that she's probably doing this, and then someone in the background is probably helping her
Yeah, I think
to.
someone's probably like manipulating her, um,
Mm,
to get her to do this, or to like get her to want to create this bubble.
right.
Um, but yeah, no, it's I've thought that Wanda was behind it.
Yeah.
Since they like announced the show, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's well, it's surreal, but also interesting to she's doing this, and
yeah,
especially where we left her off on Endgame is like how she got there. It's very interesting.
yeah. Well,
And
I think she's gone through so much, and I would understand if she wanted to create like an escape where she could just live like a
well,
perfect life with
and
Vision, you
yeah,
know.
and peacefully as well. Um, yeah, it was interesting seeing her, as we see in episode 3 of her like fixing the house. But another like surreal moment when we got back to the sitcom was Vision. Seeing him in his
Yeah,
death form, I was like totally not expecting that, and I was like,
that's really cool.
oh my god,
Yeah,
it was so like Legion level of like just weird imagery or just right out surreal, and
yeah,
that was just so surreal, and confirmed that Vision is not alive. It's just a projection of illusion that
right.
Wanda's, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Um,
So do you think that she has like Vision's body and she's just kind of like moving it around with her magic, or is it just like
oh my god.
wholesale an illusion that she made?
I, t- I can't confirm. I feel like, for me, I think he's not there. Like, I don't think that she's using his real body. I think that's just a astral projection of Vision. I think
Okay.
because the way, of course that's how he looked like as a dead person when we saw
Right.
Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
But and also to remember, Will, we I the Avengers, the surviving members from the snap probably took Vision's body and probably, like, I don't know, destroy it or put it in a grave or something like that. And we
Yeah.
don't know if they did that properly with Vision. And so and also we didn't see Wanda see like a grave or like a,
Right.
you
But
know
it's
you know
there might be something to come.
yeah. Um,
But
yeah, good question. I did wonder that, but right now my thing is, like, for me, I think it's just an astral projection that she's projecting, and like at that moment it was like Monica broke the reality of it just a moment, and when Vision came in, she's seeing the real Vision of him dying and not really alive at that moment, and she just changed it to restore the illusion right away,
yeah.
and so it's interesting to see in a couple of episodes to see, either have like a background on, just like how episode 4 is, of like what happened in the snap. I wanted to see like an episode where maybe we'll see the aftermath of Endgame of Wanda, and where how she got to this whole thing, and of the sitcom reality bubble,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be very interesting how she got there, uh, and I guess to like wrap things up right now. I love the little touch of Jimi Hendrix song.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Hold on, let me put up the song that was just here. Da, 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 da. Voodoo Child, Slight Return. That was cool. That really fit what was going on uh, with the ending of the episode, and keeping the 70s sitcom continuing. Um, Very cool. Uh, um, I, Anything else we had to mention for episode 4, Will? That was like a point to point out.
No, I'm good.
I think we covered everything. I think. I guess I don't know if you've seen the trailers about how. Well, there's one
No.
thing I'm curious about. If they confirm this, is Wanda recreating this what is it, the Mind Stone, that
Mm.
because we did see that in the trailers.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't. I've been
Okay,
avoiding
yeah,
trailers.
you're a good man. I It's in the second trailer I saw it
Okay.
prior to January, and it was a very interesting moment of her trying to recreate the Mind Stone. But
Okay. Yeah, I'm
but
sure that's
yeah, we'll
coming.
see if that's happening in episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Will, for coming to discuss
Yeah.
this episode. It
Thank
was
you.
a yeah yeah I've been enjoying talking these episodes,
Mhm.
and so far I've been enjoying them. And this is my favorite episode. I really enjoyed the surreal and intense and just investigation vibe to it, and just getting everything confirmed, and just the little things that I
Yeah.
was curious about, they confirmed that, and so I was happy about that.
Mhm.
And just properly introduce Monica as well, because she's going to be an important character moving forward. And so
Yeah,
I
that
was,
was nice.
yeah, and I think this was a good, like, reintroduction origin for Monica,
Hmm.
and and stepping into the the cosmic, or the imp, the superhero universe, when she becomes one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Of course, me and Will be back talking episode 5 of WandaVision next week. And so, not further ado, just hit the subscribe and like button for Mover Plus channel. Bye now.